Hey guys, it's Supa here. So today there's been a new hero which is announced. You can see over here, TRAPERO, and of course, let's take a look at the skills together. So legendary hero, of course, from Sword Harbor Guards, attack class, and force smart. So this is a girl, a female character, and looks pretty interesting. So and definitely fitting of Sword Harbor Guards. So let's go into the skills. Basic attack, flying bullets, deals 320% normal attack damage and 320% bleed damage to a single enemy, meanwhile inflicts 1 layer of bleed for 2 turns. Afterwards steals 20% mastery from the target, up to 10 times, so a total of 200% mastery, lasting for 2 turns. So off the bat, we can see bleed attack hero does basic attack damage as well. This can be useful in certain scenarios, maybe things like inflicting combat vanguard, that's a possibility, but as a damage hero, maybe you want something like versatility aura. But besides that, I mean, having a hybrid damage type does have its pros and cons, and let's just keep going and see the skills. Of course, it is an attribute steal hero, which is going to be useful when slotting into those teams perhaps. For special 2, precise hit shot, deals 560% attack damage and bleed damage to a single enemy, meanwhile inflicts 2 layers of bleed. So this one's pretty straightforward, just a bunch of damage to a single enemy. Next, for passive, when an ally inflicts damage over time debuff on enemies, TRAPERO gains 1 layer of Fighting Will, which increases her own attack by 4% up to 10 layers, so up to 40%. And if there is a boss among enemies, increase the attack bonus to 500% of the original. And this is going to be really high, so originally it's 40%, and this means this can go up to 200%, I guess, which is going to be really, really strong, of course. And additionally, afterwards, cast Flying Bullets 1 more time to a random enemy. Once again, Flying Bullets is the basic attack, and this gets triggered every time an ally inflicts damage over time. So on a bleed hero, for example, she's going to be pursuing and attacking with her basic attack quite a lot. This effect can only be triggered once in any turn, okay? For every 10 layers of Fighting Will gained by TRAPERO, once again, Fighting Will is this attack increase over here, reduces the cooldown of all her skills by 1 turn. This is going to be really strong, allows her to get her skills up really quickly. Next, Tactical Sniping, grants all allies mastery up 2 for 2 turns. This is a really nice buff. Currently, for bleed at least, it only really exists on Oliver, and so this will be a nice replacement, or at least a nice way to get the buff without having to rely on him. Afterwards, deals 900% attack damage and bleed damage to a single enemy, inflicts 3 layers of bleed for 2 turns, and then inflicts stun on the enemy for 1 turn, which is unblockable. So a CC hero with an unblockable stun, this has the potential to be really strong. Finally, for the exclusives, exclusive 1, when TRAPERO's turn ends, self gains stealth for 1 turn. Each time TRAPERO gains Fighting Will, cleanses 1 layer of random debuff from self. So Fighting Will, once again, is this attack increase whenever an ally inflicts damage over time debuff, which means, in my opinion, this hero will basically never have any debuffs on the character, right? Because it'll just be cleansed so quickly. When casting additional Flying Bullets, which is from the passive, I would presume, she will select the enemy who has dealt the highest damage by now as the target. Pretty interesting mechanic. Level 2. Inflicts Heavy Bleed 2 on all enemies for 2 turns before Precise Headshot deals damage. Precise Headshot is the special 2. So this character now does Mastery up 2 and Heavy Bleed 2. Both very important things to have on the bleed team. This is given by characters like Chardonnay and Oliver as well, I believe. So once again, basically a replacement for Oliver in terms of providing these skills. Increases attack by 40% of TRAPERO's initial attack for allies with the bleed tag. So you want to build TRAPERO with very high attack, it seems. This effect cannot be stacked if allies with the bleed tag already have their attack increase additionally, okay? And finally, exclusive 3. Tactical Sniping, which is special 4, grants all allies speed up 2 for 2 turns. So once again, fully replacing Oliver by granting speed up 2, mastery up 2, and heavy bleed 2. And additionally triggers random damage over time debuff once the damage ends for up to 6 layers. So this is interesting because it triggers not just bleed debuffs but any damage over time debuff that you inflict, which means if you run something like a CC team, which has Giselle for example, then this can trigger the poison as well, not just the bleed dealt by herself. At the beginning of each wave, grants 1 layer of persistence to allies with the control tag. So yeah, once again, a control hero, and looks like will be fitting into the control PvP team. So what persistence does is when the owner takes fatal damage, the owner is immune to death and restores HP by 1000% of TRAPERO's attack. Afterwards, removes the buff. Okay, really strong. So basically extra life for all your allies if you run a full control team. And when 5 allies with the control tag is deployed, after any ally receives basic attack or skill damage 3 times, grants them 3 layers of garrison, which means only 1 HP is lost when taking damage. So I guess if you run a full control team, you will alternate between taking 3 instances of damage and then being immune to 3 instances of damage, which is going to be really strong. After taking basic attack damage or skill damage once, 1 layer will be removed, okay, makes sense. And which only takes effect once in each wave. Okay, so it's not going to last forever, that would be incredibly broken, but still, this is going to be a very strong effect. So overall, what do I think? Looks like it's going to be an insanely strong bleed character. We will have to wait and see in-game as to how much damage TRAPERO herself does, but regardless, she's without a doubt going to be finding a spot in the bleed team because of the buffs that she gives, Mastery up 2, Heavy Bleed 2, and Speed up 2, as well as, I believe, giving your team some additional attack based on her initial attack over here. So lots of supporting buffs, and hopefully she does lots of good damage by herself as well. And for PvP, I mean, once again, extremely strong, Speed up 2 once again, all the other buffs as already mentioned, and more importantly, these two over here. So the persistence, which allows each of your heroes to basically have an extra life, and this garrison, which will give you lots of damage reduction, especially at the start. So this is going to be an incredibly strong character, and I'm really looking forward to see how she performs in both PvP and PvE. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.